News.
Breaking news, stimulating talk. News Talk KVNU, 610 AM and 102.1 FM.
KVNU News Time is 5:05. I'm Bill Walter with this news update brought to you by Cache Valley Pharmacy. Officers with the Logan City Police Department are beginning to use a new restraining device that looks something like out of a Batman comic book. The department recently purchased 4 bowler wraps, a handheld device that shoots a small grappling hook tether 350 miles per hour up to 25 feet away. Logan City Police Patrol Lieutenant Brett Randall said the department recently began training officers on how to use the high-tech lasso system. It's intended for situations when an individual needs to be detained without causing injury, like tasing could.
It uses a firearm cartridge, a blank, basically, and it propels a rope. It's a Kevlar string that's very, very strong, and it has fish hooks at the end, and it just wraps around whatever you shoot it at, your arms or your torso or your legs, and it just wraps around and then hooks into the clothing so you can't go anywhere.
The grappling hook device is equipped with a laser sight and can be discharged in seconds. It can wrap around a person's arms so they cannot resist officers, or around the legs so the individual cannot run or walk. Randall said the bowler wraps were purchased partly due to an increase in mental illness calls the department is seeing. Many of the incidents are more of a community caretaker scenario for police rather than a criminal act.
Being mentally ill is not a crime, but people don't know how to deal with other people that are mentally ill, so they call the police. Well, the courts have ruled that police really can't use force against the mentally ill because they're not committing a crime. The use of force has to be proportionate with the crime being committed. And in this case, there's no crime being committed, or you just want to use very, very minimal force to get them to some kind of professional care.
The department began training officers on how to use the bowler wrap last week. It included learning to shoot the tethers and also experiencing what it was like to be shot at. Police hope the bowler wraps can be used during colder months when tasers are less effective because of thick winter clothing. The plan is to add more devices as the funds become available. KVNU News Time is 5:07. KVNU weather for tonight. Areas of smoke. Other than that, mostly clear skies is the forecast, and the overnight low tonight is going to be in the lower 50s, and then sunny to partly cloudy and still smoky tomorrow. High temperature in the low 80s, around 82. It's been to 83. It's 82 degrees right now at KVNU. KVNU weather brought to you by Roof Rescue. Their experienced roofing team is tried and true and will fix your roof guaranteed. Visit roofrescueusa.com to schedule your free roof inspection. That's roofrescueusa.com. Roof Rescue, providing watertight peace of mind.
This is Phil with Cache Valley Pharmacy. We love being in Cache Valley and want to thank you for your support. Cache Valley Pharmacy features the best prices in the valley, and as always, free delivery. If you're in the market for prescriptions, check first with Cache Valley Pharmacy for the absolute best prices, especially on compounds and insulin. We've been doing pharmacy better than anyone else in the valley with free delivery valley-wide for the last 19 years. Cache Valley Pharmacy, the pharmacy delivery experts. Order your prescriptions online at cachevalleypharmacy.com.
KVNU News Time is 5:09. 19 firefighters, 5 engines, and 2 command vehicles are part of the latest task force deployment from Utah to help fight the Dixie Fire in California. Most of the members of this task force will depart for California Thursday morning to rendezvous with some members who have already deployed. This is the 6th Utah EMAC mission of the year. The Dixie Fire has been burning since July 3rd, and at more than 735,000 acres burned, it is the largest single wildfire in California's history. The August complex, which burned more than 1 million acres in California in 2020, consisted of multiple fires. The current task force consists of firefighters and fire apparatus from Unified Fire Authority, Park City, North Fork or Sundance, Draper, and Murray fire departments. And a conservative member of Utah's Board of Education who criticized the use of a gay pride flag in a social media post is under investigation. The Utah State Board of Education said Tuesday that Natalie Klein's post does not represent the school board and that they are reviewing it. Klein wrote a post criticizing a photo of a gay pride flag in a Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints seminary building with a message welcoming the LGBTQ community. Klein told the Standard Examiner she welcomes all students but worries that the seminary message could exclude others. KVNU News Time is 5:10. For more details on these and other stories, visit CashValleyDaily.com.
If you're like most local residents, you have a huge influx of creepy crawlers invading your home. Right now, the nasty elm seed beetle is all over northern Utah, but there is a solution. Call Logan Extermination today for a full exterior spray. Their full exterior spray includes foundations and eaves and will kill those nasty spiders, wasps, box elder bugs, and the new nuisance elm seed beetles. And best of all, prices start at only $85. Call Logan Extermination today for details. 752-8450.
Hey, are you looking for a way to give back to your community? Join the United Way of Cache Valley for the annual Day of Caring, Thursday, September 9th, the Willow Park Pavilion, beginning at 9 a.m. Be a part of the United Way and their commitment to unite the caring power of Cache Valley to better the lives of the individuals in our area. You can make a difference. A Day of Caring with the United Way of Cache Valley, September 9th. Sign up at unitedwayofcachevalley.org or justserve.org.
Hi, this is Gordon Deal. Friday on This Morning, America's First News. America has spent trillions fighting terrorists overseas, but the staggering costs were mostly front-loaded, and now we're more efficient at it. Also, despite the FDA's full approval of the COVID vaccine from Pfizer, some skeptics are still a no. Hear their reasoning. And managing your desire to jump on the crypto craze. Friday on This Morning, America's First News. From 4 to 6 on News Talk KVNU, 610 AM and 102 FM. Your station for news and talk.
Welcome back to KVNU's For the People, Hour 2 of today's show, Thursday, August 26th. Making our way slowly, our fault not theirs, through the candidates here on For the People. On Monday's show, we spoke with the first of 3 candidates for 2 open city council races in Logan City this municipal cycle. These are 2 at-large seats, and we will be speaking with the third and final candidate on Tuesday, and then I'll group all of these interviews together on our Facebook page so Logan residents can listen to them back-to-back if they choose. Joining us right now to kick off Hour 2, candidate for Logan City Council and one of the incumbents in this race, Ernesto Lopez. And Ernesto, appreciate taking some time for KVNU today. You've spent some time on the council. Hats off to anyone who throws their hat in the ring, especially these days. There is a lot facing Logan City and every city in Utah, really, when it comes to growth and water and all the things we've been talking about this summer. But we appreciate you taking some time for us today and filing to run to make sure that, our races stay competitive and all of that. As an incumbent in the race, though, you're seeking re-election in all of this. And to start us off, if you can, Ernesto, tell us, how's that going? What are you hearing from voters in Logan City as you campaign?
Thank you for the invitation to come and join your program today. We are hearing multiple things. One of the biggest concerns, of course, is housing affordability here in the city. And every time that a project comes through, if we have the chance of ask the question, will this help us with this situation in the city? We do, of course, and looking for ways to address that need because, the real estate market has risen so much in the recent years that has made even the rental units just be so much more expensive, right? And so it's in everybody's mind. I believe everybody in the current council is concerned about housing affordability. And so I share that concern and the sentiment.
Sure.
The need to address that.
I saw some data just recently from the state showing that in many areas of the state, rent was creeping up to be about almost 50% of some families' income. That's just unsustainable. Logan City, on many different fronts dealing with housing, much like the rest of the state. Logan City, though, Ernesto, has a unique to Cache Valley, at least. Many other cities don't deal with this situation where the city isn't entirely built out, but space is disappearing as far as places to put housing. We're going to have to get creative, right?
Yes. Yeah. I think it's going to take some creativity, not only from the people that are usually involved in the zoning and the city individuals, but also developers, right? And so I think it's going to take a lot of people working together to figure this out. I don't believe there's going to be a magic wand that is just going to fix this issue from one day to another.
Sure. Ernesto, one thing I have to highlight about your campaign, unfortunately in Utah, this is a thing. A lot of times elected officials from city council and up to the state legislature, when the campaigns aren't active, they just kind of disappear. And you've stayed very active looking over your campaign social media pages. You've used these throughout your time on the city council to communicate with the public and to solicit feedback in many ways. We've discussed this with both mayoral candidates as well. Ernesto, I really don't remember a time when Logan City had so much going on as far as changes that are underway as we speak or coming right around the bend, but also so many challenges looking forward the next 5, 10, 15 years. What do you see as, top of the ticket when it comes to things we need to start preparing for?
Well, as you know, there is some capital projects that are kind of on the books or are being discussed. We have the big plaza that will be being developed in front of the Tabernacle.
Sure.
We've kind of talked about the new library that is coming, and I mean, not too long from now, we're gonna see the final proposal for what the actual building will be like. And of course, not too long ago, in front of the council, we heard the need for a new fire station. And so those are, of course, three big things that are on our minds and that we want to do our due diligence and look at all the options and how to develop them as best as we can.
Sure. Which is, easier said than done, right, to say the least. But one of those situations where, like many things facing Logan City, it seems like the more planning ahead we do, the cheaper all of this will be, the more effective all of this will be. Ernesto, you came into this with a lot of experience on this front. You were, prior to serving on the Logan City Council, you were an advocate for education access and worked with a lot of communities that are underserved in many ways by both the city but also many of our institutions. How do things look going forward? How does Logan City meet that challenge?
Well, I see it as an opportunity. I think, as you mentioned, there are demographic groups in our city that could be better served, right?
Sure.
And I acknowledge that. I think it's not necessarily a secret. I mean, if you look at statistics, the growth in our city comes with also a diversification of its population, and we have this great opportunity to just serve them better. And of course, we need to look at what we're doing and look at the things that have not worked in the past, and decide, hey, what can we do different to address the needs and to better serve these citizens of our city.
Sure, and that's going to, of course, have to be a cooperative effort from the state legislature to working with other cities here in the valley. But Logan City, when we spoke with the mayoral candidates, we talked a little bit about jobs, attracting new businesses in. There are a lot of things that we already know are coming into Logan City that will provide opportunity for employment. How do we expand, how does a city expand opportunities for access to education, access to affordable housing? The city can only do so much, right?
Yes. I think, as we mentioned with a lot of these issues, it takes working together with different agencies, and sometimes just being the liaison to connect all of those interested parties in addressing certain issues, and in this case, helping, for example, some of the immigrant populations that we've seen come into our valley, just get better acquainted with the services that the city provides and other agencies. I'm a huge fan of what the Cash Refugee and Immigrant Center has been doing. CRIC, I believe those are crucial services that new citizens and new residents of our beautiful city need. And so I think they're doing a great thing for not only for these new people in the valley, but for everyone that lives here.
Sure. And that is a nice segue into, no secret, Logan City, every city in Cache Valley, every city in Utah, going to be dealing with a projected doubling of population over the next 30 to 40 years. We already, within Cache Valley and especially Logan City, run into issues when it comes to transportation. Logan City Main Street in the afternoons, you can see, is any given day pretty packed as we go through. You imagine adding double the number of people to that. But Logan City also in a situation where you as a city council, even the mayor, you don't get to call the shots when it comes to Main Street, right? That's a UDOT road. How have you, at your time on the council, how have you perceived the relationships with state agencies and even the county as you talk about things like transportation and planning ahead? Are they good? Is the communication working well?
Yeah, so far my experience has been that it's been good. Can it be better? Of course it can be better. I feel like it is in our best interest, both for the city and the state agencies, to kind of put our differences aside and say, all right, we know we need to get this project done, and let's just work together and figure out those little details that will allow us to accomplish that for the good of the city, right?
Sure.
And for everybody that is using those infrastructure projects that we have.
And those projects, many underway, going to take a lot of communication to meet the challenges of growth going forward. Ernesto, I know this is something listeners, if you'd like to connect with Ernesto, a couple of ways you can do that. All of his contact information is available on his official Logan City Council Facebook page, Ernesto Lopez, Logan City Council. You can simply search Ernesto Lopez Logan City Council on Facebook, and you'll find that. But I've also linked to it on our Facebook page, ways to get in touch with him as a resident, but also if you'd like to know more about the campaign, follow his work as he campaigns throughout this general election, which will play out until November. You can do so via that Facebook page. And again, I've linked to it on our own. But Ernesto, I know this is a question I haven't asked the other candidates because I know this is one that you specifically can provide a good answer for, I'm sure, with your experience. But a long time ago, a former mayor of Logan City talked a little bit about improving the back and forth between the Logan City and Utah State University. Not that there was a problem, but that there were resources available, from research to some of the housing challenges, where Logan City and USU could share resources better, communicate better, all of that. I was excited to see that mentioned, but since then it hasn't been talked about a lot. This is something I know that you've also worked on a bit, right?
Yes, not too long ago, I was involved in some conversations between a college here in the city. And I think we are at a moment where we are recognizing that we can put our differences aside and look at the things that we need to do just for the better of the community. And in fact, just last week, I was at a retreat for one of the colleges, and it was refreshing to hear how much they're looking forward to engage the community more, to work more with the community and for the community. So I think it's great that USU, that Utah State University, is taking this approach. And I say that we as a city, we should kind of embrace that and work together with them.
Sure. It's just such a great resource. We know that from here in our studios. They're a great resource for us as far as guests and topics, but definitely some opportunity there to help with planning, everything we've been talking about, roads, transportation, housing, all of that. Just an exciting opportunity. I hope that is pursued. And Ernesto, our time running short here, and I appreciate, again, you taking some time for KVNU today as a candidate for re-election to the Logan City Council in this year's municipal general election, which is underway now. Any final thoughts for listeners out there as you head back into the campaign trail, as they find opportunities to reach out to you as a candidate? Any final words, elevator pitch, please go vote, begging, anything like that?
Yes, no, I've been thinking of what is my motto, my slogan, and I just want to say, we are all Logan. It's easy to sometimes focus on differences, but we are all Logan, and if we can work together, I think we will make great things happen. I've been here in Logan since '99, going almost on 22 years.
Wow.
I am more of a Logan native. I wasn't born here, but I love Logan. My family loves Logan, and it would truly be an honor to continue to serve on the Logan City Council for 4 more years. So I hope I can get people's support, and I can serve for 4 more years.
Well, and it's been an honor for us to have you here as a guest today. Again, thank you for making the time. Thank you for filing to run for re-election. And for listeners, again, this municipal general election is underway. You have mayoral choices. You have city council choices. Get to know the candidates. We're doing our best here to help you do that, speaking with the city council candidates over the next several days, and we'll revisit all of these candidates as time allows before that election day in November. Ernesto Lopez, our guest here, a candidate for re-election in this municipal council race here in Logan City. 2 open at-large seats, 3 candidates to choose from, and you can find Ernesto online, the campaign and official city council Facebook page. Just simply search Ernesto Lopez, Logan City Council. You'll find it there. A lot of great information if you scroll back quite a ways, but you can also see what the campaign is up to, find ways to get in touch, send them a direct message, call, and more, all through that Facebook page and the contact information there. I've linked to it on our own Facebook page if you're driving now and would like to find it later. And one last time, thank you to our guest, Ernesto Lopez, candidate for Logan City Council, one of the incumbents in this race. Ernesto, a pleasure to have you join us today, and we'll check in again soon.
Thank you so much, Jason. It's been great talking with you and with your audience.
Well, appreciate your time again, and appreciate you filing to run. It's important that everyone gets plugged in with this race. Please check out the candidates. A lot of information on Logan City's website as well. We've linked to that as well on our own, and we'll be back with more of KVNU's For the People right after this.
For your next anniversary, give her the gift of diamonds from S.E. Needham Jewelers. Diamond jewelry makes a woman feel cherished. She'll also be impressed with your fine taste. Choose from an extensive selection of diamond earrings, diamond pendants, diamond bands, and diamond bracelets. You can expect the best price every day of the year. No need to negotiate because we offer our best price up front with our exclusive integrity price guarantee. S.E. Needham's is known for quality jewelry for more than a century. Open Monday through Saturday, 10 to 7. S.E. Needham Jewelers, middle of the block, at the sign of the clock.
Friday edition of the Clay Travis and Buck Sexton Show. One of the most devastating terror attacks that we've ever seen in Afghanistan taking place yesterday, and we broke it all down for you. The fallout will continue on Friday. We'll dive into the absolute latest as we attempt to evacuate.
Every aspect of the security situation. We'll be talking to you about what the Biden administration response looks like as of now, and the most up-to-the-date information we can give you. That's coming up on the Clay Travis and Buck Sexton Show.
10 to 1 on News Talk KVNU, 102 FM at 610 AM.
I'm Larry Gelwicks, the Getaway Guru. Join me on The Travel Show every Saturday at 11 a.m., and I'll tell you where to go and how to get there with the best travel deals on the planet, including how to travel more and pay less, free this and free that promotions, and insider secrets on what the airlines, cruise lines, and hotels don't want you to know, along with your call-in travel questions every Saturday, 11 a.m., right here on News Talk 610 KVNU.
Poured my drink down the front of my shirt. Welcome back to...
That's always good to do, live on the radio.
Welcome back to KVN News for the People. Been one of those days. Sounds like you've had one of those days,
I've had
too,
one
Bill.
of those days, too.
Talking about lost wallets, and here we are, kind of looking at the studio right now. We're surrounded by... There's news scattered everywhere. And I can't find a working pen.
Yeah.
It's one of those days. Almost Friday.
We used to blame it on the salespeople, but they don't come in this room as often as often as they used to. So you
can't them all off.
Can't blame it on them. So
no, it's just
the marmots.
It's a Monday on a Thursday, is what it feels like. Everything that could go wrong has. Oh man! Thanks again to Ernesto Lopez. He's again an incumbent in this race. For Logan City residents not familiar with this, I know this can be kind of confusing sometimes, but you have 3 candidates for 2 seats. And in this race, you have 2 incumbents and a challenger. So we've got one more candidate to get to. Amy Anderson will be joining us next Tuesday on the show. And just there, you heard Ernesto Lopez. He's been serving in this spot in 2021 and will be the incumbent in this race. And these are for 4-year positions, by the way, 4-year terms that they're elected to. So, still thinking about this cheese festival Charlie talked to us about in hour 1. I just have to throw it out again. CashCheeseFest.com. It's a week from this Saturday, September 4th. Well, it actually starts Friday, but that's kind of more of a private awards event. Invitation only, I should say, awards event. And then a big day of public activity on Saturday. I don't know if you've ever seen them, Bill, that these Alpenhorns. I'm gonna go back to it because it blows me away. So there's going to be a performance by the Salzburg Echo Alpenhorn blowing group. They performed at other festivals here in Utah, and they will be performing Saturday evening, September 4th. Kind of closing out the event at 6:30 p.m. there at the event center, Cache County Event Center. But throughout the day before that, they're going to be doing these demonstrations, and I just it amazes me because, and as I understand it, the Australian didgeridoo is kind of like this too. But so most wind instruments have some sort of mouthpiece or reed or the trumpet, the saxophone, the trombone, they all have some sort of device that properly blown into causes it to make sound. These Alpenhorns are literally just tubes with a crook at the end. Now, the mouth end is smaller than the sound end, and that's how they get that deep, very loud sound. But it's literally an art to blow into these the right way to make them make sound. And it's amazing to see. So check it out. But the real reason I bring this up again is, honestly, it blows me away that I'm happy it's happening. Don't get me wrong. But it blows me away that this is the first annual, in Cache Valley, the first annual cheese festival. Cheese and Dairy Festival, actually. CashCheeseFest.com again. But
yeah, because the
really
Valley has been known for cheese for forever.
Yeah. Yeah,
So,
Cache Valley cheese, Gosner's. I mean, I know people who have driven more than 100 miles to buy cheese here, family members. That's how I know them. People I love and respect, and I know why, too. So it honestly blows me away that this is our first annual Cheese and Dairy Festival. But along those lines, there is kind of a serious side to this, and it gets lost in, we talk a lot. We talk a little bit with Ernesto there as a candidate here on the show, opening the hour. We talked with Logan City Mayor Holly Daines about this before. We've talked with Cache County planners, state lawmakers. Whenever we talk about growth and disappearing open space and shrinking agricultural industry in Utah, the disappearance of agricultural land because it's all being sold to build McMansions and subdivisions. This is it's obviously concerning, but one aspect of all this we haven't talked about, and it's definitely one that deserves some attention this year especially, but the dairy industry itself, agriculture in general, is under a lot of different challenges. And it's something that we all take for granted so much that there isn't really not any coordinated anyway movement to save it, to keep it a lifestyle, to keep it a part of our local economies, not just something that happens, in China or something like that, or in some other country or some other part of the country. But there should be probably, because it's more than just keeping prices of this stuff low. It's more than just being able to access it fresh right here in our own backyard, sometimes literally. It's also about an industry and a lifestyle that I think contributes a lot to our quality of life. Agriculture goes hand in hand with open space. Agriculture goes hand in hand with protecting the soil, our rivers, our environment in general. Farmers in the Midwest, for example, are some of the most outspoken climate activists you'll ever meet. And I think the conventional wisdom doesn't absorb that, but honestly, farmers in the Midwest have been the most impacted by the encroaching desert temperatures as the warm air each year gets further and further north, and things get warmer than they have been. That's impacting a lot of growers, and so they become very outspoken about this. Here in Cache Valley, I've met farmers, I've met people in the dairy industry that are some of the biggest advocates for greater restrictions on what pesticides are used and things like that, because they deal with this and being able to sell their product. This year, they're being impacted by the drought. Stories left and right of dairy herds being just decimated, sold off, because, so here in Utah, at least, it's still a more common tradition. I don't know if it's a majority still of dairy farmers who do this. I know it's a lot, but oftentimes they grow everything they need for their herd. So dairy farmers, their product is that dairy output, but they have to keep the cattle healthy and alive, obviously, and they do that by growing their own food, all their own resources to keep the herd afloat, to produce the milk, the dairy, and that's something that has been very difficult in a drought year. If we are hit, as we talked yesterday on the show, the long-term forecasts make it look pretty likely at this point that we're going to be hit by a second year of drought equal to this one coming next summer. We're going to see dairies disappear if this continues. Now, obviously, we don't control things like drought. But we do control things like population planning, planning for growth when it comes to housing and transportation, protecting open space and agricultural land, making it more of a priority. I guess what I'm saying is that I think maybe at a legislative level, maybe even at a coordinated level between the federal government and the states, I think we need to start having conversations about subsidizing these lifestyles for the time being. I know it won't be popular, but I hate the idea of there not being a dairy farm one day in Cache Valley, that there not being a lot of agricultural activities happening in northern Utah at large. And granted, it's a long ways off. But we've been steadily headed in that direction for a while. So honestly, I think we need to start. I don't know what type of help, taxpayer aid or whatever can be offered that would be most useful or how much it would cost. But I think we need to start having some of those conversations to buy them some time so that there's less incentive for them to sell the land for subdivisions and to keep the family farm, keep themselves in these industries. I don't know. Maybe an unpopular opinion, maybe something will get wide support here in Utah. I have no idea. I just know that we should probably start talking about it. 753-5868. We'll be back with more of For the People after the news with KVNU's Bill Walter.
Thank you, Jason. KVNU News Time is 5:40, and the news is brought to you by Northern Steel Buildings. Beginning today, a Utah insurance provider is offering a $100 gift certificate to those who get vaccinated against COVID-19. Select Health said the incentive is available to members of Utah-based plans as long as they meet eligibility standards. Once they get the required 2 doses of the Moderna or Pfizer vaccine or 1 dose of the Johnson & Johnson, they will receive the incentive. Full details of the eligibility requirements are available at selecthealth.org/getvaccinated. There were 11,411 Utahns tested for the first time since Wednesday, which means almost 3.1 million people have been tested in Utah as of today. Also today, the Utah Department of Health reported 1,491 positive COVID-19 infections on a day when, again, about a fourth of these new infections were children in grades K through 12. With 10 more COVID deaths today, 2,615 have lost their lives to the virus during the pandemic. 2 of the deaths were reported in northern Utah. One, a Cache County man over 85 who was hospitalized at the time of death, and the other a man from Box Elder County between 65 and 84 years of age who was also hospitalized at the time of death. There have been 124 COVID deaths in Cache, Box Elder, and Rich counties. In northern Utah, 77 new COVID cases were reported since Wednesday. The district's total case count grew to 24,338. Within the Bear River Health District, 1,082 people have been hospitalized over the course of the pandemic. Currently, 76,428 people in northern Utah are fully vaccinated. 165,768 vaccine doses have been administered in the district. The town of Schofield is out of drinking water, according to Utah's Division of Water Resources. The agency said in a report the town's water tank is now dry due to overuse and low spring flows. The Division of Drinking Water has issued an emergency permit for the town to haul water for residents as a short-term solution and will work with the town on long-term water management strategies, including infrastructure needs like new well meters. The tiny eastern Utah community has also been dealing with harmful algal blooms at its reservoir, which can be toxic to people and pests. The report, which updates Utah's drought emergency, said 31 of Utah's 42 largest reservoirs are below 55% capacity for water. However, the state has seen some slight improvement as a result of rainstorms recently. Utah Lake increased in size slightly. The Great Salt Lake is still at a record low, but held steady for the week. And another Utah petroglyph has been defaced in the latest recent vandalism case of its kind in the Moab area. The Spectrum newspaper reports the damage appears to have a word scratched into the rock, including several names and a date. The Utah Bureau of Land Management said Wednesday that a concerned citizen found the defacing in Mill Creek Canyon and sent a tip to the agency. An emergency treatment removed or faded most of the words, but it appears a few letters could not be removed. First-time vandals can face fines of up to $20,000. KVNU News Time is 5:44.
Oh, little piggy, let me in or I'll blow this building down. Nice try, Wolfie, but this here building's made from steel.
All right, then. Here goes. Gosh, that didn't work.
A building from Northern Steel Buildings will keep out the big bad wolf, and they don't break the piggy bank. Visit northernsteelbuildings.com to see their quality work or call 435-677-7300. Northern Steel Buildings. Value from concept to construction.
KBNU weather for tonight, mostly clear, areas of smoke, low in the mid-40s, and then sunny areas of smoke tomorrow, high temperature in the lower 80s. It's been to 83, it's 82 right now at KBNU. KBNU weather brought to you by CBD7. If you want CBD, you want what works, CBD7. It helps pets, too. Order CBD7 online or look for the big pink CBD7 sign at 473 South Main in Logan. Learn about CBD and try their best for free. For more details on these and other stories, visit CashValleyDaily.com. Let's get this update now from ABC.
President Biden says today's deadly attacks in Afghanistan won't postpone the U.S. mission there.
President Biden saying the Afghanistan evacuations will continue despite the latest terrorist bombing and risk.
We will not be deterred by terrorists. We will not let them stop our mission. We will continue the evacuation.
The president vowing to find and strike the ISIS group, claiming it was behind the bombing that killed and wounded U.S. service members. Andy Field, ABC News, Washington.
At least 13 U.S. service members were killed in the two bombings, one at the airport in Kabul, the other at a nearby hotel. White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki.
As a mark for respect, starting today, the United States flag will be flown at half-staff at the White House and upon all public buildings and grounds, at all military posts and naval stations, and on all naval vessels of the federal government in the District of Columbia and throughout the United States and its territories.
The U.S. is scheduled to exit Afghanistan August 31st, this coming Tuesday. Daria Albinger, ABC News.
Did you know that if you have rooftop solar and the power goes out, you won't have power? Solar and Battery Backup Solutions has the answer. In partnership with Rocky Mountain Power and their WattSmart Battery Incentive Program, you can take advantage of huge rebates, as much as $3,600. But you must act soon because Rocky Mountain Power is scaling back these huge incentives August 31st. So now is the time to add a sophisticated battery system to an existing solar system or install a new solar system with a battery backup capability. And Solar BBS can finance your new solar system for as little as $49 a month OAC. This means no fears of the zombie apocalypse, EMPs, or wondering how you're going to live with an aging power grid. Sleep much better at night knowing you have residual power stored from solar in powerful batteries. Visit solar-bbs.com for more info. That's solar-bbs.com. Solar and Battery Backup Solutions, your solar and battery solution provider.
Oh boy, this summer's been amazing. Building the new Logan Heritage dealership, getting my son back home, and even adding a new daughter-in-law. In fact, it's been so great, let's celebrate together and have you swing by and pick up a 2021 summer souvenir, a Ram truck from Heritage Auto. The Make This Summer event is still on, but you've got to act fast. Take home a 2021 Ram 1500 with low 1.9% APR financing for 60 months and no monthly payment for the first 90 days. Loaded with features like available 5.7 Hemi, a Uconnect 4 infotainment center. It's no surprise that Ram has been Motor Trend's Truck of the Year 3 years running. The features are great, but nothing beats the memories you'll make for many summers to come. Come to Heritage Auto in Logan, Tremont, and Brigham City, or visit us today at heritageeprice.com. You'll love how easy it is to drive away your new ride. Only at Heritage Auto, your hometown dealer with the biggest deals.
Heritage Auto Group. Heritage, it's what drives our future.
Loveland Living Planet Aquarium takes us outside our everyday lives into a world of discovery. It's a chance to explore our innate curiosity, discover animals from around the world, and experience the all-new outdoor plaza and eco. More to explore at Loveland Living Planet Aquarium. Reserve your visit at thelivingplanet.com.
Welcome back to KBN News for the People. Tomorrow on the show, I'm holding off on this because I want to. Sometimes you see news stories, and you have an emotional reaction to it, and so I want to hold off on this before I talk about it. But I'll just mention it today in the Utah Department of Health report. There was something that caught my eye of the nearly 1,500 new cases, by the way. There was mention of a 0 to 1 age group in there, and that is an infant on a ventilator right now at the University of Utah Hospital. I'm going to... We'll talk about this at the start of the show tomorrow. I'm going to give myself 24 hours. My first reaction to this, though, today, I'll just say it quickly, is I honestly, I can't conceive of the trauma that this has got to be, that one case has got to be for so many people. Including, healthcare staff. Obviously, the family. I'm going to leave it at that for now. But yeah, I want to talk about this because I think sometimes it's easy to, this becomes all news stories and numbers, sometimes the same way war stories do, wars that go on for a long time at least, the humanity is removed. So put a pin in that one. We'll talk about it tomorrow. Also, Andy Morgan will be here tomorrow for the movie show, and we're going to talk about Free Guy, which if you were listening last week, Andy and I both made fun of. You might be surprised, though, minds have changed. More of KVN News for the People right after this.
Hi there, Congressman Blake Moore here. This August, I'm coming to you. I will be traveling throughout the 1st District hosting in-person town halls, and I'd love for you to join us. I will be in Duchesne, Davis, Summit, Cache, Box Elder, Morgan, and Weber counties. Visit my website at www.blakemore.house.gov and follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Rep. Blake Moore for times and locations. I look forward to seeing you and addressing your questions. Paid for by official funds authorized by the U.S. House of Representatives.
It's a Classic Cars Saturday night at the Event Center. Classic Cars, live music, and good times. The Classic Cars roll in from 5 to 9 p.m. Bring your friends and enjoy food and drink from the Event Center patio and Greek Street. Classic Cars and live music from the Band Basement Cafe. It's a free event. There's no admission charge to see these classic cars and listen to the live music. Bring your friends. A Classic Cars Saturday night at the Event Center, 12 North and 200 East behind the Cache Valley Mall.
Every Saturday morning at 9, you get information to prepare you with retirement solutions for the journey ahead. It's Smart Money Ascent with Clayton Alexander of Teton Wealth Group.
How do we solve that number one fear or that number one concern? Make sure you never run out of money.
And Teton Wealth Group's Ethan Miller.
Then, when you leave Teton, when you leave our offices, you're going to have a plan that you're both excited about.
It's where your retirement questions are answered. Smart Money Ascent, Saturday mornings at 9 on News Talk KBNU, 102 FM and 610 AM.
Pristine wilderness can still be found in the West, where creeks run freely and historic apple trees still bear fruit. Maple Creek Ranch features breathtaking canyon views and opportunities for real estate development. 2.5-acre lots are now available with adjacent wilderness areas that provide endless riding and recreational possibilities. So find your piece of paradise just 35 minutes from Logan at Maple Creek Ranch. Schedule your appointment online at maplecreekranch.net.
This is the best in talk radio. This is the Dave Ramsey Show.
Every day I get calls from people in difficult situations. Maybe you've been furloughed. Maybe this crisis has put a strain on your relationships. Or maybe you're just scared. You don't know where to start. Well, I'm here to tell you guys that there is hope. We'll walk with you and show you how to take control of your life and your money right here on the Dave Ramsey Show. Listen weeknights at 6 on News Talk KVNU.
Welcome back to KVN News for the People. If you missed it yesterday, we had a chance to talk with Senator Mitt Romney. And, well, first off, you should listen to the interview. It was it was really illuminating in a lot of different ways. We talked why, I'd mentioned this before on the show, but he and Senator Lee were at polar opposite positions on this infrastructure bill, which has passed the Senate and is now going through what's going to be probably a month-long, at least, process in the House as they tie this infrastructure bill to something the majority can do in the House, which is a budget reconciliation process. Both parties have relied on this more often in the chambers of Congress as Congress has become more dysfunctional and tribal. They use the reconciliation process, which can only be used for budgetary items, things that affect the budget. But, I mean, as you can imagine, that's pretty much everything. Republicans used it for the 2017 tax cuts. Democrats are about to use it for what is basically a big spending agenda. Money for transportation, upgrading power grids, upgrading broadband networks, climate change agendas, things like that. So that debate is going to take a while in the House as they work through this reconciliation process, which is basically writing a gigantic omnibus spending bill. And then Democrats in the House have told leadership they will not vote on one without the other. They want to guarantee the two are tied together. So it's passed the Senate, and when it passed the Senate, Senator Lee and Senator Romney were on polar opposite ends. Lee outright opposed from the start and remaining so until the final vote. Romney opposed at the start and then actually getting involved directly in writing the bill. He was part of a group of 10 senators, Republicans and Democrats, not an equal number, but close. And they basically hashed out their differences and led to what is actually one of the first big bipartisan bills to happen in more than a decade. So it passed, and Senator Lee said it was a mistake. Senator Romney has said it's needed and was better than it could have been. He still said yesterday he had some concerns about some of the pay-fors. He says it's mostly paid for, but Democrats can change that quickly, so that concerns him. But either way, listen to the interview. It's great to hear him talk about that. The part that really got the biggest reaction from listeners as the story was written up for Cache Valley, or the interview was written up for CacheValleyDaily.com and then shared online. A lot of people either loved or hated Romney's comments on Afghanistan. And I'll be honest with you, I thought Romney's comments on Afghanistan were more nuanced and thoughtful than most of what you're hearing from elected officials out making the rounds on cable news. You have Democrats who are obviously looking for reasons and justifications to defend the president and this decision to withdraw with an August 31st deadline from Afghanistan. There was a bomb today that killed civilians and servicemen and women. It was a small number affected by this, but still, that's also something that's been happening pretty much every month at least for 20 years. At least, so that's the takeaway for me, that some of the reaction to what Romney said yesterday reminded me that people had actually forgotten this war was going on, and that civilians were getting killed on a weekly basis in these little neighborhood-sized squabbles that would pop up between Taliban, old Al-Qaeda holdouts, younger ISIS members, U.S. military, and the Afghan government we were trying to create for 20 years. My point is, Romney basically said yesterday, no matter what, when we left, it was going to be ugly. He didn't like the timeline. He thought the president was surprised and caught off guard, or at least the Pentagon serving under this president. So he, buck stops at the president's desk. He owns it. Biden owns it one way or another. Romney said he was surprised to find out they were surprised by some of the swiftness of the Taliban's takeover of the government and things like that. But he said, in the end, you have two administrations, he said, that muck this up. and there was no unmucking it, and so the decision is: do you stay for another 20, or do you fold? And do you call your losses and get out? That ended up being a very controversial thing. People took issue with that. Some in support, some very opposed. I would challenge everybody to actually hear Romney in his own words. Listen to the interview.